Okay, so I think it's July 1st, so let's look at some garbage here, people. Okay? And then I'm going to go into War Room 3 and I sit by my desk and I'm going to talk, okay? But let's look at some garbage. Garbage that gets in the way of everybody. Okay? Garbage that allows people to fucking harass me. So we've got a canner here that we know that we still need to use because I've got those canned peaches that need to be recanned. Otherwise, if I leave them in a can for any length of time, the can doesn't do well with peaches. So if you're going to buy peaches in a can for food storage for any length of time, it's best to recan, and you can do that. And as a matter of fact, it would probably be cheaper to do it that way than go off and buy freaking cheap peaches, fresh peaches in a grocery store and try and can. Okay, because we did that, what, a year and a half ago, and for like $60 you get nothing. Okay, whereas if you buy them already but you want the one without the citric acid. You want the Del Monte, you want the old cans when they used to just can their fruit in plain old sugar syrup. Okay, right, so now there's another pot that I actually got. Now if you notice, this is where I had my tomato plants. Just put them outside now. They were still producing tomatoes. I'll show you in a second. So, okay, so that's garbage. And there's another pot there that I would use to put the peaches in, so I gotta put it on top of here because, you know, it's a fucking pain in the ass for other people to trample through my fucking house. As they say, let me help you. Alright, and then we've got Uncle John's paperwork in here mainly. Okay, this is mainly Uncle John's paperwork for court, to which Justice Ross and every... Andre, shut up! And every other, what is that called? Master, judge, justice, they all ignored. Okay? It was blaring them in the face, but they'd ignored it because they knew they could just throw it out and hide the dirt of Fraser Health Authority and their staff and the medical kidnapping of Uncle John, and then the progression of the targeting of my family at the probably request of Eleanor Gilding, who works for the province of British Columbia, Canada, for the immunization, the provincial immunization program, the big bitch that she is, right? You know, got to cover up her ass just so the government can keep doing what it fucking doing to its employees without being held to account. Anyway, that's all garbage. We know that from the court, right? Justice Ross, Master Bowman, freaking Judge Savage, and whoever else I've come into contact because of that. And then, of course, we've got more paperwork here, which is fucking garbage. All garbage. This is garbage. This is some sort of a little thing that you can get yarn and you make something with it. So that's garbage. And then we've got a little amp here that should be in the playroom, but it's not right now because I moved it out of the living room, right? Because I had my grandkids coming by and I had to make space for them. And I've got electric guitars in the playroom, to which I did buy Andre, what is that? Like a almost $800 computer with and then another $400 for the fucking program, and then another $150 for a keyboard so that he can learn how to make music, you know, practice his reading and critical thinking skills. And anyway, I do have an electric guitar with an amp that can plug into all this stuff and he can actually record. Okay, so that's garbage. We know that. This is definitely garbage because honestly, I don't want it. And I'm debating whether I should just throw it out in the fucking road like everybody else wants me to do with my shit and just give it away as a freebie. Or maybe I'll have a little yard sale with Andre. Either or, it's fucking garbage. What is this? Oh yeah, this is miscellaneous tools and, you know, those kind of things. All garbage. More paper, garbage. Right? I don't know what's in here. Probably more paper, fucking garbage. It's all garbage. This is an ice cream maker. Garbage. I'm looking for my lids for Tupperware. If anyone knows anything about Tupperware, you don't want to throw this stuff out. But over the years, my lids got all mixed up. You can see. So it's just a matter of time before I probably will come into contact with them. But that's garbage. This is garbage. I brought this up from outside after everything out in the basement was thrown fucking out. And what that is it's inside. It's for like camping, like a little aluminum frying pan, aluminum pot, that kind of stuff. So when you go camping, so I thought that'd be great for Andre with the rocket stove. But of course, that's fucking garbage. Okay. And then we've got this here, which I haven't had a chance to do yet. This is to put in little planter pots to start hydroponics. Okay? which I haven't done yet, but that's garbage. Now let's get into the haul. We've got cat food, garbage. Laundry soap, garbage. I don't know what this is. An old cassette deck, garbage. An old camera, more than likely garbage. I emptied that, but the box is garbage. What else we got? Rabbit food, garbage. Oh, there's that diaper from the, I had 2 of these boxes in here. 7 boxes of, what is that called? The supplemental drinks. And 1 box full of diaper wipes. But that's all garbage. Then we've got this air filter here because we know that there's massive fires going on and it's just a matter of time before the air quality in British Columbia, Canada becomes so toxic you're going to have to run fucking 10 of these things in your stupid house just to be able to protect yourself from the forest fires. And then of course Alea May's little dollhouse here, to which, you know, Tisha thinks is garbage. Alright, okay, so that's fucking garbage. So, you know what I'm saying here? Oh, there's an empty box that I can use for something, but that's garbage. And then, of course, we got the fucking paint and what is that called? Rubber cement, which is garbage. And then, of course, we've got these things here, which was, you know, for the grow room, which is garbage. It's all garbage. The stroller is garbage. The little hand drill is garbage. It's all fucking garbage. Okay, I am going to talk about this because, honestly, people, is it recording? Oh my God. Do you see this? None of them are working. Nope. The only thing that's happening, not working. I'm going through every pair I can find. I had to get my son to write the check for rent. I can't see shit, people. Nope. Every day I wake up, it's getting brighter and brighter, just like my dream told me. What else is it, people? It's blurry. It's been blurry almost from the get-go. Everything's more reflective because the lens is not the original body part that they took out. So it's brighter, it's more reflective, it's blurry, and none of these glasses are working, and my eyes are getting worse. Every day I'm noticing it. Now, mind you, I've been under a lot of fucking stress here. Okay. The first surgery I canceled. I wasn't feeling very well. There was something going on. Okay. And when I canceled it, they wanted to rebook it. And they told me that if I missed that appointment for the eye surgery, I wouldn't be able to get another one for a long time because of what Fraser Health Authority does. If you miss out on 2 appointments in terms of the booking of the surgery, and I gave them like a 2-week notice, right? So it's not like I called the day before the surgery. I gave them 2 fucking week notice that I needed to cancel because, you know, eye drops and just whatever, right? And, you know, she's, well, you know, when you can book in 3 months from now, or, you know, you can book like next month. And I'm like, well, you know, this eye doctor keeps putting fucking pressure on me. Well, you know, the pressure's too high. The pressure's too high. I'm trying to save your eyesight. You got to do this, and it's the only way. And blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, people, he's not even checking this eye on the eye pressure to see if that freaking laser surgery worked. To which we found out after the fact of this one that whatever he did with the laser surgery fucking didn't do anything. If anything, it probably made it worse because I've been using eye drops, and with the eye drops, it's been coming in at 39 PSI to 45 PSA in this eye with the 2% vision. Okay, whatever. So anyway, she says, well, if you miss the next booking, which was, what was it, June 19th, if you miss it, if you cancel it, or whatever. That's it. You're not going to be able to book another one for months and months. That's what she told me. And I'm like, oh my God. She said, well, you can hold off for 3 months if you want, if you don't think you're ready for it. And I said, well, you know, I kind of have to do it. I don't really have too many choices, right? From what the eye specialist is telling me, right? In terms of saving my eyesight. So I booked it. And I fucking made sure I went, people. Okay, I knew I was jeopardizing the house. If I would have put it off for 3 months, I would have been caught up with this crap. Okay? Nobody helps me with this stuff. I've been asking Tisha for over a year to have Alex come and fix underneath the fucking sink, because my landlord refuses to do it. Now, when they come for the rent, I'm going to ask them again. Again. It's not like I haven't asked them in the past. And I get, well, you fix it. Or the guy is busy. I mean, I've heard it all, people. You don't like it, you can move. Right? Take it as is. If you're going to live here, you fix it, because you don't pay enough money in rent. I'm selling the house. I'm not fixing anything. Okay? So, you know, I've been trying not to ask, because the 4 to 5 times that I asked over the last year to fix underneath the fucking sink, it hasn't happened. So I've been trying to find somebody else to do it. Okay, Alex is a plumber. All right. I babysit Tisha's kids at one point almost 2 times a week. Well, it was 2 times a week. It'd take me a whole day to clean up the fucking living room. And 1 day later, the kids are back. And they scatter. Everything. And crumbs and juice boxes and just whatever. But they're my grandkids. Whatever. So I did that for months and months and months and months. Right? 2 days to keep an eye on them. 2 days to clean up after them. I'm busy 4 days out of the week looking after my grandkids, cleaning up after my grandkids, sucking up the energy, which is taking away from what I need to do in the kitchen or anywhere else in this house. Right? As I got this eye doctor poking on my fucking eye nonstop since September of last year, giving me drops to the point where at one point, you know, I was like a freaking waterfall with the right? And just the dizziness and whatever. I dealt with all that. Okay? Right? And, so anyway, it's not getting fixed underneath the sink. And now my tap, because it's an old tap, right, is stripped. It is the hot water tap. So I'm freaking out about that, right? And, you know, I'm asking, have Alex come, right? I'll buy the parts, whatever, right? Okay? You know, I lent Tisha money, right? You know, whatever, you know? Fucking whatever. And, okay. So, hold on a minute. Yeah. So Andre made me a coffee. Okay. So, okay. So I'm like, well, I better just to get this over with. Right? Considering what the eye doctor's been saying with this rooter shit. Okay? You know, no point in putting it off for 3 months, because we know what I'm going to be doing in those 3 months. I'll be in the fucking yard. As I'm being told that I need to get out and get rid of everything or whatever. Or I'm not fixing it because I'm selling the house or whatever. So I thought, just fucking get it over with. You know, hopefully you'll heal fast, because that's one thing my body does do. And, you know, you'll have plenty of time to get out in the yard and finish up what you need to do. And don't worry, just fucking do what's the most important, because I did it for the kids, people. Okay? I didn't want to do it. Because, sure, it was cloudy, it was foggy, right? You know, dark, right? You know, it's because you don't get as much, but I could see clearly. Like this right here, what you see here, those numbers, there's more behind my finger. Over here, I could read it. I could sit here before this surgery and read a lot of the titles on these books. Can't see shit. Right? You've seen me read paper at least one pair of glasses, but now I can't see shit. I can't see fucking shit. So much so I had to get my son to write the fucking check, because I can't see with not even one pair of fucking glasses on. Right? I can barely see the computer. Maybe. I might be lucky today. I don't know. I haven't turned on the computer yet. We'll have to wait and see, because every time I turn on the computer, I'm beginning to see less and less. And the only reason I can shut that off. The only reason I can somewhat navigate with it is because I know where things are. It's not because I can see it. It's because I know that up in the corner there is an X you can exit out. Right? Right? I'm just saying. Okay? So, okay. I have the surgery. We know that, right? Tisha takes Amari and Andre. We kind of penciled in about a week. But now, keep in mind, dishes were piled up when I left the house. Right? I mean, everything, right? And, it takes time. Right? Right? Okay. So, and have my surgery the first day and a half. The first day and a half. The first day when I got home, I was just, my son couldn't believe how I was in terms of whacked out. Right? And he kind of scared him. Because he's like, Mom, I really don't know how to be a caregiver. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, well, first of all, calm down. Don't worry. Just, do this and put that on there and come check on me, because I'm sick. I'm going to sleep. And I went to sleep, and he came up and checked on me. Everything was fine, whatever. He did whatever, right, when it needed to be done. And then the next day, I was somewhat a little better, right? Went on the computer. I could actually see with those ones that I used to use, kind of see, right? The one with the one eye glass and that one with the broken, whatever. I could kind of, right? I did a video, right? Put that up, right? But you know what? I had to get up and wash dishes, right? And, the kids weren't here. And because I've had my grandkids here, people, and I can't really vacuum with Amari in the living room and those kind of things because he doesn't like the noise, he'll cry. And so, I thought, well, okay, he's not here, so this is a good time to do it. I wanted the steam clean, but I passed on the steam cleaning. But I did go out of my way to vacuum, when you lift up couch cushions and get in underneath and all the crumbs, everything from the kids, right? Basically, right? And just the corners and I did what I could, people. I fucking kept a steady fucking pace. Sorry, boo-boo pace. Oh, I know, I was supposed to rest. But, it needed to be done. Nobody's helping me. I had some time to do it without having to worry about Amari. And just whatever, and nobody was here, and so I kind of paced myself through it. And, I've got this stupid Wonder Cat spraying up by my front door, and I had the kittens in the bloody bathroom, and, and so I ended up, after I did the living room, the next day I started to tackle taking the rug out through that little walkway with all that garbage that's there, the playhouse and everything, right? So I'm on the ground, right, sweeping the floor, and again, nobody helps me. They come trampling through my house, and things get moved around, and I had to order Amari's drinks and the diapers, and I get 9 boxes coming in at one fucking time. I ordered it after I had surgery, people. Some of those boxes were still in the freaking hallway when the paramedics showed up. Okay, and if they weren't in the hallway, Andre moved them down towards that other little hallway to make room for the paramedics. And of course, we know I still got a few buckets and miscellaneous stuff kicking around in the kitchen, right? Because, I'm doing laundry, I'm constantly washing the bathroom because of the kittens, and Okay, so whatever, and I'm not gonna rush, right? You know, do what's important here, right? You know, you got a few more months to clear everything out. You got a plan with the cooking with Andre, and you know, it's not like you're going into food prep. It's not like you have to start all over again. Fuck, I've been doing it for years. I'm at the very tail end of it. I'm washing a few jars right now to put pepper in, and I bought mustard seeds, you know, brown mustard seeds, yellow mustard seed, yellow mustard powder, so that Andre can learn how to make his own mustard, because it's one better for you, and you know, it's economical. And if the shit should hit the fan with World War III, Andre will still have his mustard in 2 years from now. He won't have to worry about going to pay $10 for a bottle of mustard, because he's got all the seeds here.
I love me mustard.
I know you love your mustard, right? But I had to jar it up and all that other things, and you know, and then I did that. I put them away. We know I jarred up the fucking honey. I still got a bucket of honey that's about that maybe much of the wildflower honey in it, that, you know, is sitting in the middle of my kitchen among the other buckets and miscellaneous boxes that are sitting there that I'm, you know, right? Okay. And I'm like, well, get this done in my mind. Don't worry. You know, I could have taken the 3 months out and just focused on that and put this off for 3 months, listening to the eye doctor nattering to me that the pressure is too high, the pressure is 26 is too high, 26 is too high, 24 is too high. We want it between 10 and 16. The only way we can do it is if we give you eye surgery. And since we're going to do eye surgery, we might as well change the fucking cataract. Okay, fine, you know, right? Right? I can play catch up, right? Okay. So, you know, I'm not panicking, right? Right? The only person that might be bitching on about it would be Tisha, because when she comes, you know, she wants everything perfect. You know, it's got to be easy for her because it's about her. It's not about me and I need help. It's about, can I have a jar of honey, but don't expect me to help you clean up the mess, kind of thing. I did give her a jar of honey, but only one jar, because when I filled up when I did those buckets, I didn't get as many jars as I wanted to. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, like, she expects everything to be perfect. I noticed that about her. And being that it's not perfect, then there's, you know, she criticizes me, and I called her on that. I said, you know, you used to pick on ShaMay when ShaMay was alive, and I didn't really notice it. ShaMay tried to express it to me, but not so much in terms of like, Mom, you know, Tisha's picking on me and calling me fat and doing this and doing that. And, you know, ShaMay kind of sucked it up, was a big sister, and put up with Tisha's bullshit. But as soon as ShaMay died, that fucking bullshit started to come my way. And this wasn't the first time I've told Tisha, like, you know, you fucking treat me like I'm ShaMay. You were picking on ShaMay. I didn't really notice it, you know, and now that ShaMay is dead, I can see exactly what the fuck was going on, because you think you can do it to me, but you have to remember I'm your mom. Oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she'll storm out, I hate you because you didn't teach me how to read, it's all your fault, blah. And she's going off like a 2-year-old having a fucking tantrum. Tisha was the only one that had fucking tantrums, and she started when she was 2, people. And she's still having tantrums. Okay, whatever. So, you know, either or, it doesn't matter. You know, the kids been coming in, making a mess. You come, grab them, walk out the door. Andre, you know, he get all frustrated. I get frustrated. We get everything nice and clean, right? It takes us a whole fucking day to clean the living room. We relax. And what happens 2 days later? Even if I tell her I don't want to babysit the kids because I need a fucking break, she'll show up at the fucking door with them. Oh, well, I got something to do. Can you just not watch them for a couple of hours? Oh, okay. So it starts all over again. Whatever. Not a big deal. You know, they're going to get bigger. I only got so much time to do it. Right? I love my daughter. Right? Right? At least I can do it. It's more than what my mom ever did for me. My mom never watched my kids, not even freaking 1 minute, me people. The 2 of them before she died. Right? Okay. So, you know, last thing I'm thinking about is fucking paramedics trampling through my house. Social workers showing up at my fucking door the minute I basically get home from the hospital, right? Because, you know, right? I'm thinking, get this over with. At least this one. Get it over with. And then you can say you did it, and then you can play catch up with everything and stick with the plan that you've got going in terms of yard, clearing out the kitchen, you know, start making the bread and just all the things that I want to do. Canning with Andre so he can learn these things. You know, using that little rice cooker that I bought, getting into our smoothies, you know, working on Amari's cookbook, just, right, trying to bring in, you know what, that little bugger, if I give him my homemade apple plum sauce or anything homemade and put it beside his food, he's eating it. I have stopped using those for a while. And he wouldn't eat nothing. Tisha said after the week was over, oh my God, he's not eating anything. Only thing I can get him to eat is yogurt. I said, welcome to my world. Everything that I'm making him, he's not eating it. I said, welcome to my world. Oh, I'm washing dishes 5 times a day. I said, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Right? And I told her, don't stress though. Just keep giving him his supplemental drinks. Offer it to him, whatever you're making. If he's not eating it, because I gave her the little machine to puree. I said, don't get stressed out about it. He's happy. He's thriving. He's active. You know, he's communicative. He's strong. Right? So, you know, if he was like that, then I would be concerned. He caught a cold from them. Okay, we'll get to this. I'm not going to rush with this video. I don't care because I'm going to say it once and once and only once. So, unless of course the video kicks out. Right, because this camera's fucked up now. Oh, sorry, boo-booed up now, right? Okay, so, you know, just suck it up, Buttercup. Don't be afraid of doctors sabotaging you. Don't be afraid of doctors sabotaging you. Do it. Anything that's going on in the house, you can play catch up with. You got all summer long between the house and fucking yard. Because there's always that pressure, right? Okay, so I do the eye surgery. My son is discovering what it's like to be a caregiver. And he's a little nervous about it. But he's doing it. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm recuperating. And I've only got a few days before the kids come home. And I need to vacuum because Amari's not here. So I don't have to deal with him stressing out and crying and all this other crap. So I go out of my way, right? On the 3rd or 4th day, I don't know what day it was. It was the 3rd day or the 4th day. I'm vacuuming now, you know, in the living room. I'm pulling up the couch cushions, you know, and I'm doing laundry and I'm hanging everything up around the house to air dry. And, you know, I'm vacuuming, you know, in between. You know how couches are, right? You know, and under and this, and I'm sweeping this, and I'm sweeping down there, and I'm moving this, and I'm doing dishes, and next thing you know, I'm cleaning up a fucking bathroom that, you know, little kittens have been running around shitting all over the place. But before that happened, Tisha came back with the kids. I left the bathroom till last because of this, because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to get an infection. Right? So I thought, fuck, I'll just wait till Andre gets home to help with the litter. I didn't want to start mucking around with litter. So, you know, those kittens were basically in the bathroom for a week with a fucking litter box. And, you know, kittens are like, right? Oh, my God, it was nasty. So Tisha comes home with the kids. Okay, now... On Monday? Yeah, on Monday. Okay, she was supposed to bring him back on Tuesday, but she phoned me up and said she had something to do on Tuesday, so she had to bring him back Monday night. So it's going on 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It is what it is. I've had a whole week. At least I got some things done, right? The only thing that I didn't do was the bathroom because I needed Andre to help me with the litter box and picking up the poo that maybe was on the floor and just whatever before I went in there and started disinfecting everything and washing. Okay? So she comes in. Now, I didn't know this. That she was, before she got here, she was screaming at, I called her on that. I told her that you told me that she was screaming at you in the freaking van when she was bringing you back about school.
Yes, she was.
Well, I said, I didn't know this though at the time, right? When I called her on it, that day when the social worker came, she said she didn't do that. Anyway, apparently, as she was bringing back Andre, she was screaming at Andre from Andre's point of view in the car at the top of her lungs that if he didn't go to school, that she was going to call social services. Did she tell you that in the van on the way here?
No, she told me when... She literally said it when I got home.
So she said it when you got home. What was she saying in the van?
Okay, it's probably hard for me to remember, okay? I was stressed out by the time.
Okay, but a little bit. I don't want to give out misinformation.
She was saying, you need to get your wife together. Do you want to be a bum?
Yeah, she keeps telling Andre, do you want to be a bum? Do you want to be a bum? You need to go to school because if you don't go to school, you're going to be a bum. What else?
If you go to school, you're going to make friends. Jude is really not a friend.
So she's picking on Jude, saying Jude's not a real good friend. You need to go to school to make friends. If you don't go to school, you're not going to have a life because you're just going to grow up to be a bum. So she was basically going on and on about that till she showed up here. Yeah. So, okay, now she's here. Okay, now. Monday. This was Monday when she dropped you off.
Then she was on here. She remembers she came back on Thursday.
Why?
When you were bringing Amari back from the hospital. And then she was talking to me about school again. Outside.
No, that was... Okay, yeah, okay, hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. So, hold on. I'm getting to that. Yep. Okay? So, now she's at the door bringing Andre and Amari in. Okay? But she's been calling Andre a bum, saying he's going to grow up to be a bum if he doesn't go to school, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes on to the attack on me. Immediately. She puts Amari down. I'm like, well, how's everything going? I don't even know how the subject of fucking school came up, but the next thing, Andre's got to go to school in September. That's it. If you don't enroll him, I'm calling social services, and I'm going to have them taken away from you.
She said I also have it recorded on my phone.
Oh, yeah, and she's got everything recorded, right? And I'm like, whoa, because, what the fuck? Because she's been doing this to me now, off and on, for the last year and a bit, every now and then, because she's trying to control me, people. She's trying to take over my life, be a busybody, not minding her own fucking business, not respecting her mom, okay? Trying to just be whatever, right? And so I'm like, well, no, I already made plans. I don't think that's going to happen. And, it's really none of your business. Like, you need to back off. And she just started screeching and making threats that she was going to call social services on me in August, at the end of August, if I didn't register Andre in school, and that she was going to get them to take him away from me, and it was all my fault that she can't fucking read, but yet she can play fucking video games, read that shit, she can read all this fucking shit on her fucking cell phone, and just the whole 9 yards, right? She can read when she wants to read, but I guess she expects it to come without effort, right? If you don't want to put effort into something, of course you're not going to be very good at it. So, when I was her age, I was still kind of going back to school and taking little courses here and doing little things like that, and it takes time for some people to get it, right? And then when I started the foundation when I was 35, that's when I really got into it, and I got myself 3 different bylaws from World Vision, something else and something else, studied their bylaws, got a dictionary, and did a Malcolm X with the dictionary, and then that's when my language skills kind of really took root, and I became more of a proficient writer. But I also used to read novels when I was younger, and I come across a word in a novel that I didn't know, and I would take the time to look in a dictionary to find a thesaurus, to find the meaning of the word, and then of course they list similar words as if it was a thesaurus to build onto word power, right? Okay, either or. If you don't invest into it, if you don't make the effort, don't expect to be very good at it. And you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But she likes to hold that over my head but I always put it back on her and tell her, like, you need to take responsibility for you, right? If you feel that you're not reading as to what you would like to do, then it's not that hard to either go buy some books to help you start at the level where you're at, or I've got tons and tons of books around here. Nothing is stopping you from picking up a 2 or 3 and start where you think you're at and just build on that word power. comprehension skills, writing skills, whatever fucking skills you want, because if you don't apply yourself, you're not going to get it. And you can't blame me. You can't blame, I'm blaming you for the rest of my life. It's all your fault. I hate you. I hate you. I hate, and then storm out, come on, Elaine, and then storm out of the house. And I've talked about this, where I don't want Elaine being in the middle of all this shit. So, you know,
Elaine was not there.
I know, but I'm saying, this is the pattern that's been kind of going on for the last year and a bit, right? Pushing close to 2 years, right? With this issue of Andre. You know, because Andre has a learning disability that's taking, you know, some time for him to surpass. Okay, so anyway, will he ever be a rocket scientist? Probably not. Okay, but I think you realize if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to get any results. Yeah. Right. And you might have to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again for a couple of 2-3 years, to which my son and I used to do with Andre, to even be able to get to the next milestone. Okay? And that's the problem. It takes 2 to 3 years sometimes to get to the next milestone, where everybody around Andre is having panic attacks because he's not progressing as the standard, the mainstream would, in terms of the average, right, child, right? Okay. And of course, that's all my fault. Spend enough time with him or whatever. What is that?
Macaroni.
I can't see it.
Macaroni.
Who is it?
Yours.
Oh.
I made some. I gave you some.
See, I can't even see that that's macaroni, people. Like, seriously, my eyes are fucked. Something happened to my eyes. Okay, so she's screaming at the top of her lungs, people. Threatening me. And this isn't the first time she's done this. And I'm screaming back. By this time now, this is on Monday when she brought them back. And I'm screaming back at her like, you need to take responsibility for you. Thank you. You need to take responsibility for you. You know, like, blah, blah, blah. You take responsibility. It's all your fault. You take responsibility. You ruined my life. I said, you need to take responsibility. There's some time in there. You need to start taking some responsibility. And then Amari started crying because he got scared. I forgot about that, people. Because it was so sudden and whoosh, right? And of course, being a mom, button heads with my kids, I had to stand my ground. And then she's screaming at me, I hate you. I'm not, yeah, I'm warning you now. You don't do this, I'm calling. I said, I don't care, do what the fuck you want. I don't really give a shit. Get the fuck out. So she goes to the door, closed the door. But of course, by this time, that it was so sudden and so abrupt and so aggressive that, yeah, he was crying. He got scared. Now you have to remember, he was at her house for a whole week. I didn't want to do that, people. I was scared that he would have a seizure after the fact, based on what happened with the park event when Tisha had that birthday party with Elaine May, and not even a day and a half later, he got so stressed out with that park situation. It wasn't even a day later before he had a seizure, right? And I was so afraid that if I had him there for any length of time, it would trigger a seizure. And honestly, I think I was right, because he ended up having a seizure not even, 3 days later? 4 days later, after being home on the 4th day or 3rd day or whatever day. Yeah, she dropped him off on Monday, and he had the seizure Thursday night. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I was right. He doesn't do well with that. And then come home and then have that screeching fit yet. But of course, she's got to show me who boss is. So I just, whatever, right? And then, so that was Monday night. Now I've got Amari home, and I'm still having to clean and do whatever, right? Right? I can't rest, take it easy. Then people would really take advantage of me. You see, that's the thing. They'll set me up to fail. They won't help me to fucking clean this or fix underneath the sink or whatever. They want to make it hard as can be. Yeah, I'm noticing that. I'm really noticing that. But what can you do? Right? So, we were up. Andre wasn't wanting to go to bed. We were in here chatting for quite a long time. I said, okay, well, whatever, Mari's playing. We can hear him, checking on him, doing our routine, whatever. I had a full fucking day, whatever, and I was going to get ready to just go lay down on the couch, put my eye patch on. Amari had fell asleep by this time. I'm laying there. Andre's getting the cat. He's calling his cats. Right? I'm listening, whatever. And then I hear this weird sound come from Amari. And I'm like, that's weird. So I sit up. Right? And I'm like, what? You need to burp? He was sleeping, but I kind of sat him up a little bit. Right? Right? And then I laid him back down, and Andre's still, trying to get the cats in or whatever, and I laid down, and I heard that noise again. I thought, that's an unusual noise. That's a weird noise. I sat up. I felt him, because the first time I moved him, there was nothing there, right? I felt him, and yeah, I could feel it. And I'm like, holy shit, okay, you're puking. That's what I'm hearing. So, of course, I sit up, right, I grab him, right, and he's like, whatever, right? I mean, he was sleeping, so this kind of happened in his sleep, right? Unless, yeah, because he was sleeping. And I think the burp provoked it, because I didn't burp him, people. And, of course, I picked him up, grabbed an eye patch, threw it down. By this time, he's puking all over the place. Andre, get me a face cloth, because I don't know if he's just puking or if he's having a seizure and puking. I haven't quite figured it out yet, right? So Andre come running in and grabs me a face cloth, and I wets it, and I said, okay, go get another one. He comes, he's going back and forth between the two face cloths and rinsing them off and coming with, and it's cold, right? So I'm wiping Amari down, and I'm like, come on, Amari, what's going on? Like, making sure that, he's, like, nothing's backdrafting, because that's the biggest fear, right? You don't want it backdrafting. Seeing if he's going to wake up and respond, or if we're actually dealing with a seizure. Andre picked up on it. He says, Nana, his hand going a little bit like this. I said, yeah, but Andre, you see his eyes going like this? He said, yeah. So I'm going to go get the pill, Nana. I said, yeah, Andre, good idea. You do that. So he went off and brought me that. I put it on the side of his cheek. I said, okay, go get Uncle Mark King and get 911, right? Andre went off and did that. By this time, I had Amari's clothes off, and I'm wiping him down and, talking to him. And then I eventually just laid him down on the couch, right, on his side. Not as panicky as it was in the past, that's for sure. A lot more, you got to have that heart of steel, people, right? It wasn't as panicky, And Andre took note of the time, because he knows the paramedics always ask what time it is when this stuff happens. So when he walked by to go call Uncle Marcane, he took note of the time. It was 1:05 a.m. in the morning. And Marcane immediately came up, like, in less than a minute, really. And Marcane is very good with breathing and on the phone with the ambulance, or like 911, and doing pulse and just whatever, right? And then we just waited for the paramedics, and they didn't come up with their, they just drove up quietly, which was good, right? Because they've been here before. So, and this time I didn't take him to the front door, right? I just thought, fuck it, just let them come barreling through. I just had eye surgery, right? I mean, I could have put the shit off for 3 months and got everything all nicely put away so that other people wouldn't have something to bitch about. But, it's not like whatever. So as it just, right, Andre maybe moved some things out of the hall, because, we had stuff from the at-home program. Alea May's freaking playhouse was there, and the air filter was there. There was a box there. There was the games were there that was thrown out into the garage. Was a stack of games, and then my bucket with the Mylar bags in it was there, and it's just whatever, right? This is really no bigger than a small 3-bedroom rancher, square footage wise. I have to keep my tools in some areas in the house because there's no place to put them, and just whatever. Okay, I'm just saying. So he just grabbed everything and kind of pushed it that way. So it was a big mound of shit towards that way, right? In that little teeny weeny hall to make room for the paramedics. But of course, anything that was in the kitchen and in and around here didn't get moved because I gave myself a couple months to finish up doing what I needed to do, as I was hoping I wouldn't go blind, because my dream told me everything was going to go white. And so far, it looks like it's going to be that way, people. Not one fucking pair works. Everything's blurry. And it's worse than it was before I had the surgery. And it seems to be getting worse every day. Every day. Every time I wake up. So, okay. Ambulance come. They ask what happened. Blah, blah, blah. And one guy was kind of snitty and snippy with me. And said something to me. And I said, well, the last time you guys were here, I had a pissing contest with one of you paramedics. But as you can see, right, you're in the house, so, I'd like to try and avoid it. You're not going to have a pissing contest with us. I said, well, that's good. And then, how do we get him out of here? Well, the one paramedic said, well, I'll just carry him. As if I would have carried him to the front door. Right? Because that's what I would have done. Plus, you open the door and the air is fresh and, it's whatever. And, he's kind of like, it kind of keeps him alert, right? Because I notice when I take him to the front door and I'm holding him, right? And, I'm bouncing a little bit, talking to him, he does kind of respond. But laying on the couch, he seems to get more deeper into the seizure. Because at one point, Marcane said that he was getting scared because his heartbeat and breathing was so low that he said it's just getting lower and lower and lower. And that's what happens. That's what happens. And that's why I like to take him outside. Because, and then, right? And then the last time, before this time, I had him outside on the porch, right? I'm talking and whatever, and he did. He looked at me. He responded. This time, he just got deeper into whatever, even though I gave him that little pill. Okay, either or, you got to have that heart of steel, because there's no fixed rule on these things. You can't predict exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, and right? You just have to go through it, like with Auntie ShaMay in that dream. She started, I got her, right, put her down, and I just had to hold her until it was over. And that's when I woke up with that dream with ShaMay. Well, so anyway, they let me ride in the ambulance. This time they had me in the front versus in the back, because I had to go. All right. Andre was here, Marcane was here, Marina was here, so Andre stayed. Whatever. I get to the hospital. Now, I'm going to turn this off, and then I'm going to come back, because I don't necessarily trust this camera. And then I'm going to talk about what happened in the hospital. Was it good? It was okay. Was it perfect? Obviously not. Am I suspicious? To some degree. Can I expect anything better? I wouldn't say so. Do I feel like I was set up? By all means. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So hold on a second. Okay. She brings them back on Monday. Has this huge screaming fit. Gets Amari's freaking out because, it was so sudden and abrupt. So, that could have been a trigger. not to mention the full week at her house with a lot of activity and kids, and apparently everybody was sick except for Amari. Kyrie had his 12-month shot, and with this and whatever, and they all had sniffles, and apparently, and she also watches Alex's dad's kids, right? So that's more kids, and just whatever. But Andre was there, and he did really good at keeping an eye on Amari, and so okay. So they come back on Monday, and as she's running out the door, "Oh, your house stinks." And I'm like, yeah, well, that's because I got kittens in the bloody bathroom. I have to still do the bathroom, right? It's not like I'm getting any help here. I notice that people like to go on the attack when you're like at your weakest, right? They'll nip at you here, nip at you there, nip at you here to wear you down. And then when you're fucking real weak and worn out and tired and, is he okay?
Yeah.
Then, what do you call it? That's when they really go in for the kill, right? Okay, so okay, whatever. So by Wednesday, my first day, Tuesday, Andre didn't want to get in there and deal with it. And by Wednesday, I said, gee, Andre, Nana needs to get up into this bathroom. So he got in there and did his job, and then I went in there, and I'm telling you, people, I washed that fucking floor like 3 times, 4 times. 4 times I had to wash that fucking floor. Okay? Going in and out, off and on, over a period of several hours. Is he sitting up? He caught whatever they had at that house. With all those kids running around, which is okay. I'm just saying. So, whatever. Alright, so I do that. And then, I don't know what I did on Thursday, but did something. Because, I have to keep the steady pace, because again, nobody helped me with this except for the few little things that Andre does, right? But the bulk of it obviously falls on my shoulders, right? So, okay. So then, now I'm at the hospital. I had to mention about the cat litter and just, your house stinks, and if you don't put Andre in school in August, I'm calling social workers, and I've got this recorded. I said, you could do it the fuck you want. I don't care. Just, you need to take some responsibility for you. No, I don't. It's all your fault. I hate you. It's your fault that I can't read. Even my friend said so. I said, yeah, okay, whatever, Tisha. No, you need to take some responsibility for you. I had the same fucking problem when I was your age, and you know what? I took the time to help educate myself. It took me a long fucking time to do it, and it sure in the hell didn't happen overnight. And I didn't run around blaming other people because I couldn't fucking read and write to my satisfaction. Like, fuck you. I've been listening to it since you've been 2. I hate you. I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm warning you right now. If Andre's not in school in August, I'm calling in social work. Get the fuck out. I was like, whatever. Okay. So now I'm at the hospital. And, it's a big kerfuffle. Because he was still puking. Now, this is my opinion on the puking, okay? They start putting their IVs, they start giving him medication. They can regulate their medication, to which, in my opinion, I don't know if this is true or not, but I would lean towards it is. They can adjust their medication to produce a result of an side effect. And in other words, maybe this medication is kind of making him puke more. Okay. Because when they had him, right away, first thing, doctors calling, more nurses, we need more nurses. So everybody's running into Amari's emergency room. Well, there's some woman in the background screaming at the top of her lungs, I want to go home. I hate you. Just screaming, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. You can't keep me. And she just howling at the top of her lungs, right? And everybody's dashing around and, and now you have to remember, I got up probably around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I haven't gone to sleep yet. So now we're going into 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I've been up for a while now. Okay. Yeah. I probably got up around 7:30. And then Amari had his, in the morning, on, I guess, Thursday morning. And then Amari had his seizure on, at 1 in the morning. And now we're at the hospital. It's 2 in the morning. And we're in freaking, trauma mode here with the doctor screaming for more nurses. We need more nurses. We need more nurses. And next thing you know, you've got like 8 people going in and out of the room with Amari. And I'm just kind of in the back watching as to the best of my ability, right? But yet they're all running around, and then I get one coming saying, well, what happened? And what are his medications, and what's this and what's that? And I'm like, well, the medications were given to the paramedics in terms of, when they came, they knew, right, what his medications were. So, at one point I said, because they kept asking me the same question over and over again, and depending on the question, when I went to answer the question, halfway through my sentence, they just turn around and walk away from me. And I'm like talking to midair, right? And then they did that like several times, people. I don't know why they did that. It was almost like it was done purposely to make me annoyed, or, I mean, clearly they were busy with whatever, and like they're working in a stressful environment, granted, but at the end of the day, if you're going to come to me and ask me a question as to what happened, whether it's a nurse or a doctor or whoever it was, right? Social work, didn't matter, right? They would just, I'd go into, well, this happened, and then all of a sudden they just veer off and turn their head and go off and start acting like they never asked me the question, and I'm kind of like talking into the fucking wind here, right? Okay, I said, okay, well, you're busy, obviously, I'm just, don't take it personal, right? It's not about you, you know what I'm saying? And then 15 minutes later, whatever, it would be another person asking me the same damn question. Just as I'm getting into explaining what's going on, they turn their back on me and fucking veer off over there. Maybe get him some water, please? Okay?
How about this? I'll go to the corner store where again with some ginger ale.
Okay, ginger ale would be great. Yeah, that would even be better for him.
Actually, I can go now if you want.
Yeah.
Just give me like $10. I'll get some cans.
Get some what?
I'll get, 2 cans of ginger ale for him, okay? How many cans of ginger ale should I get? 2?
No, get 4. It's cheaper to buy 4.
So I'll give you ginger ale.
No, you can get 3 ginger ale in 1 pot for yourself.
Okay, I have $1.
Okay, I'm doing a video. All right, pencil them in, please. Have them sitting up for me. Okay, so and it was done like quite a few times, like more than 3 times really, with different individuals. Even the doctor did it. And then asking me, one person asked me what my feelings were about doctors, right, or what my feelings were going on with whatever, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's in my head, right? I'm thinking, that's an odd question, right? But I said, well, I myself personally don't have, a lot of trust for doctors, but, what can I say, right? Okay, so whatever, just, I don't know. It was just, okay. And then they moved him to another room because, they took lung to check to see if he backdrafted, because that's always my biggest fear. When they're puking right, that's children can suffocate with their own puke, right? So, they took the x-ray, which I would expect them to do. They gave him, I don't know what this is called, but whatever I gave him, he got it 3 doses of it.
Back.
Yeah. And because of the 3 doses of it, and because he tends to be a little tiny, but either or, the 3 doses of it, that actually the doctor told me, if I was to take 3 of these, it would knock me out. So I gave Amari the 1, because that's what they recommend you to do, especially if you can catch it within the first 5 minutes. I think we were successful at catching it within the first 5 to 8 minutes. I think, based on based on when I started hearing those noises and feeling him and Andre going with the rags, 5 minutes, Nana, I think maybe, yeah, you're right, Andre, go get it, right? And so I would assume that we were pretty spot on with this. And then I think when the ambulance came and got him, they gave him 1, so that would have been 2. And then when we were at the hospital and the doctor was calling for more nurses and everybody swarmed and, you know, and they were going to do all this stuff and I'm watching from the outside, right? I'm not in the room, but I'm watching from the outside. And one nurse was putting a tube in his mouth. Oh, he's starting to puke again. You know, right? Starting to puke again, right? And I'm like, okay. So I'm just watching. And then I heard her say, people, I heard her say it after they did whatever they did. She said, oh, I think that was my fault. That's what she said. I think that was my fault because the tube that I used to put into his throat was too big and he started to gag, which brought the puking on. So I made a mental note of that she at least took responsibility for the quote-unquote mistake that she made in terms of provoking the puking to suction out whatever or whatever. Okay. And I'm like, well, just go with the flow. You got to have that heart of steel. You know, nobody's perfect, right? You know, right? In the meantime, you got all these nurses around. Now, I don't know why they needed so many nurses, but they used the Surrey Memorial Hospital as a training ground for other students to come in to learn how to be nurses, technicians, whatever, right? I mean, that's a given, people. How to dote after a dead body, embalm it, put, you know, right? I mean, depending on what department you work in. I mean, ShaMay was in a different department, obviously, right? Okay. I'm just wondering what kind of disclosures they make these people sign in terms of, you know, don't tell nobody that it's a dead body, right? Because this is the perfect opportunity how to learn how to do this, do that, not to mention how to prep a dead body with the, you know, keeping it looking as best as it can with the embalming makeup and just the 9 yards. But that's not the department Amari was in, right? So, of course, I think some of these nurses were new nurses or nurses in training, but whatever. Obviously, there were professional people in there, and you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? So, okay. So, they stopped the puking, and then they did the chest x-ray, which I would suspect, right? Then they moved him, and then everything kind of calmed down a little bit. People kind of dispersed, but you have to remember, I got people coming asking me these questions, but as I'm answering and I'm midway through sentence, they fucking veer off and then walk away from me and act like I don't even exist. And they did it more than once. They did it like 4 or 5 times between different individuals. I couldn't understand that one. Like, I kind of felt like I was being played, honestly. But you can contribute to them being busy, overwhelmed. I mean, if you had to justify that kind of behavior, well, I'm in an emergency department, we got a woman screaming over there, a baby crying over there, and this one in a seizure, what do you expect? My mind isn't focused on you, it's not about you, it's about the patients. Well, obviously, but then if that's the case, why ask me these questions when I already answered them to the paramedic, right? Like, why are you asking me what the medication is when I already gave the medications to the paramedic? And I even said that, well, why don't you have the paramedics form, right? Why do you Amari's been here before, you should have this already all on file, right? Like, why are you asking me the specific names to his medications when the paramedic was given that information and Amari already has a file in that hospital? You should already know what the medications are. Oh, well, you know, different file, you know, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So after they move him to the other room, saying that they have him in that room now because all the equipment is there in case they need it. Apparently they stabilized him, whatever that means, because he was sedated. And when you get to that point and he's stable and sedated, there's really nothing you can do other than ride it out for the sedation to wear itself out. Whatever they sedated him with which was 3 of these, 1 from me, 1 from the paramedics, and 1 from the hospital, the doctor told me whacked him out. And that if I took 3 of these, I'd be whacked out. And I'm full body adult size. So, you know, now they're just going to monitor him. And then at one point, I went up to speak to the, you know, pediatrician, because he showed up now, right? And then, and this is, again, being cocky. Cocky, people. Why? Why? He's looking on his screen, asking me questions that he should already have these answers to, because we've been there now for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, you know, asking me his medications, and I'm saying, well, right, I gave that to the paramedics. It's whatever you guys prescribed last time we were here, minus the one, this one, the muscle relaxant that I didn't give him. These are the reasons why. Provokes vomiting, provokes nausea, right, which wouldn't want to make him eat. I already got eating issues with him, right? Provokes drowsiness and sleepiness, and, you know, the cognitive impairment, right? Right? And you know, and seizures. So I said, you know, you can't use this as an excuse as to why he had a seizure, because they're all asking me why he had a seizure. And I'm like, well, you know he has cerebral palsy. You have to remember, Amari came late with the game with the seizures, people. He didn't start getting seizures until after age 4. And from 7 months old until age 4, every time I came into contact with these workers, it didn't matter what the fucking team was under the healthcare system. Did Amari have a seizure? Did Amari have a seizure? Did Amari have a seizure? No, 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 no. Why? Why isn't Amari having seizures? I don't know, but he's not having them. Well, there must be something wrong, because children like him have seizures. Why doesn't he have seizures, Miss Chorney? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe I'm just grateful that he doesn't fucking have them, since you guys are waiting for it to happen. And now that it's happening, they're drilling me as to why it's happening, as if I fucking know. And when they all know that it's because of the cerebral palsy, and they couldn't be more than happy to wait for it to happen. Right? And, you know, and I even called him on one of those people. I don't know, so many people. What's that? What happened? What happened? Why is he having seizures? What's the matter with him? I don't know. He has cerebral palsy. They have seizures. You know that. Why are you asking me? Just, I'm stupid. Like, totally fucking stupid. Even the doctor, that pediatrician sitting at the fucking desk there. You know, he brought up this fucking medication. I said, well, how do you know that Amari had this medication? Because I never mentioned it to the paramedics, and I didn't mention it to anybody, because I haven't been giving it to him. Right? Oh, well, I brought it up on his file through Fraser Health Pharmacy in terms of, you know, what's been prescribed and I guess filled. I said, yeah, well, yeah, it's there, but I don't use it because this, and this. So you can't use that as an excuse as to why he had the seizure. When you already know he has the seizure. And he's asking me where the fucking brain damage is. And I'm like, well, I don't, somewhere in here. It's all up in here. As if I got his files in my back pocket. I said, it's pretty severe. And then he said, well, oh, I can maybe tap into the children's hospital, because he said, oh, I noticed that he had an MRI here. I said, yeah, it was a botched one. So I ended up taking him to the children's hospital. And he go, well, I can't really access, sometimes I can access those files, sometimes I can't. I said, well, whatever, I don't know. I just know it's up in here somewhere, and it's pretty bad. Right? And I want to know why he's having, like, what triggers this shit? Right? Now that he's having them. Right? Where's the triggers coming in? I'm trying to figure out what the fucking triggers are, and I kind of had an idea, even before I went for eye surgery, that it would trigger something. And it did. Anyway, so he's sitting there looking at his screen, you know, asking me why Amari has seizures and what part of his brain is damaged and how much it's damaged and all this other crap. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I just know it's up in there and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, well, something about ShaMay with Coke. I looked at him, and then he quickly changed the subject. He quickly fucking changed the subject. Yeah. Quickly changed the subject. He had to drop the word Coke in there, though, didn't he? You know what? If my daughter would have never admitted to doing cocaine in the first trimester of her pregnancy, these people wouldn't have a fucking leg to stand on. I bet you half of the world population has been exposed to cocaine at one point or another in their past, if not actively participating with that activity today. So for these doctors to keep drawing that one card, it's only one card to distract away from malpractice in terms of my grandson being injured at the time of his birth, to which I never even fucking talked about the whole time I was there that night.
You got 4 in the rail.
Okay, well, you know how to make him a bottle. Just give him a quick boo.
I got myself one can, though.
He's okay?
For myself. Yeah.
Just a tad little just don't make the pop salty. You only need just a couple of little specks of salt to defizz it.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. You just came in, make sure you wash the can lid.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but he had to throw in that dig. And he did it so snidely and, well, sneakily, and then he quickly changed the subject. And why he even did that, I don't know.
They're on the ground there. A lot of them. A couple of them, actually.
Where? By the store?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's dangerous to be cutting up walnut right now. I love the smell of it, though. Yeah. Okay, go get the bottle.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Yeah, like, you know, Amari had the seizure because of Coke. You know? And I'm like, I looked at him. I didn't say anything. I said, yeah, okay, whatever you think, buddy. Whatever you think, buddy. You can say whatever the fuck you want, because if my daughter would never even told you about anything, you'd have nothing to fucking say, period. And why would you even fucking say that? You know? Why are you even asking me what part of the brain is damaged, as if I'm a walking encyclopedia under stress? Who just had eye surgery to boot? So, it's like you have to go in with your own little book in terms of the medications and everything written down, so that you can just hand it over from person to person to person, so that it gets put down on Amari's file correctly, as if they don't already know. I mean, what's the point of giving that information to the paramedics if they don't relay it to the fucking doctors and whoever's dealing in the emergency room? And if they really want the information, all they have to do is go behind your back and pull it up through pharmacare to see what's been filled by prescriptions. Yeah. So why are they asking? When the answer was already given to them. Like, it's stupid. You know? So, okay. So now he's there. I'm sitting there. Everything appears to be okay in terms of he's sedated. We know the routine. He'll stay sedated as long as they want to keep him basically sedated. Right? Because I already went through that when they were testing for meningitis.
You want me to give him the whole can? Because I got a big bottle here.
A whole bottle might be too much for him, Andre. Just give him a small bottle. I don't want him to start puking up pop.
I don't know where small bottles are. They're in the sink somewhere.
Well, then just fill up the bottle halfway. That's fine. And I'm sitting there, right? Nobody's in with Amari. Well, no, they're still around Amari. They're still kind of hovering around Amari in that other room, right? And he's clearly sedated, right? And I'm just really, people, I'm trying to be neutral about this, okay? Actually, no, he wasn't quite stable yet. Or he was on the... They weren't sure what they were going to do yet with him.
Can you do this, please?
I'll
just hold it. That's it?
Did some go in?
Yep.
Well, hold on a minute. Take maybe a spoon or a knife and stir it around a little bit. Stirring it, well, I don't want to put too much salt in because it makes it bitter.
No, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to go like...
No, because it will spray through the... If it's air, it will spray pop all over the place. Just take a spoon or a knife or something and stir it around and break up the bubbles that way. I'm sure it was after they put him in the other room and they were still hovering around him and doing all this crap. And I was sitting there and I was watching... And a hospital social worker came and sat down beside me, started asking me questions, whatever, and then she says, he obviously picked up whatever cold you guys had at that house there. Anyway.
Even though I got sick again.
Okay, happens. It only builds up your immune system, you're fine. And so anyway, she says, they might intubate him with a ventilator yet. I said, excuse me? Like literally. I said, excuse me? What did you say? She says, yeah, they're thinking about putting on a ventilator.
What's that?
That's where they hook him up to a machine so that they're going to intubate and put him on a ventilator. To make him breathe.
Okay.
And I said, well, that's kind of sudden. And she goes, yeah, that is sudden. I said, okay. Well, I hope not. But you see, they want you fearful. They want you fearful, people. It was enough that you got me talking, answering questions, and then you turned your back on me and you walked away and you didn't do it once, you didn't do it twice, you didn't do it 3 times, you did it like 4 fucking 5 times later, as you got the doctor sitting there in front of a screen drilling you for questions that he's got the answer for right in front of his fucking screen, as he drops the word coke and then shuts up and changes the subject. And all I could think of, and I said to her, well, you have no control over this, people. I mean, if they're going to intubate and put him on a fucking vent, it's not like I can go in there and push past everybody and say, don't do it. I'm at the mercy of these individuals. I said, okay, well, gotta have that heart of steel. And she basically got up and walked away. And then everything calmed down. Obviously, they didn't do that. And then everything calmed down some more. And then I was allowed to go into the room. They said that he had a fever. You know, and of course they're asking me if he was sick before he got this happened. And I'm like, no. Nothing to indicate that he was sick. As far as I knew, nobody was sick. Andre kind of came home stressed out because Tisha was yelling at him in the car. And he was all wiggy-eyed and all that shit. But in terms of sick, I wasn't aware that anyone was sick at Tisha's house because Andre said, no, not really. Nobody was sick. But it turned out, I guess the kids all did have colds. But nothing extreme, right? And when Amari was home, there was nothing in there to indicate that he was sick. He was his happy-go-lucky self just to be home. And he was chatty 45 minutes before it all happened. All right? You know, he's a little night owl, right? And now, all of a sudden, he's got a fever. And I pointed it out to them. I said, well, it seems to me these fevers come after he has a seizure and he's in the hospital. I said, do you think maybe, just maybe, he might be allergic to this stuff? Because where's the fever all of a sudden coming from? Right? Well, and I'm like, okay, well, just be aware that he had no fever, he had no symptoms of a cough, nothing. He's got it now. And then, because I'm like, well, you know, what's triggering this, right? I'm trying to piece the triggers. So, of course, every now and then I'm asking a question when I think I might get an answer to one, right? And then, so they gave him some Tylenol. I told him that, you know, he was a little too covered up with blankets, that, you know, he tends to overheat if he's too covered up and whatever. And then, okay, so that was fine. Took off a few of the covers, but still kept him covered, and that was fine. And he slept and slept and slept. And, of course, I'm awake. I'm awake through this whole thing, and I'm going in and out having smokes. So 7 o'clock comes, 8 o'clock comes. Now I've been up for 24 hours, okay? By, oh, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock, doctor comes in. He delivered a baby. And he tries to wake up Amari, hollering, Amari! Amari! Moving him around. Amari is not responding. Because of sedation, people. And that's when he told me that he was slightly over-sedated. And that if I took the amount that Amari had, it would have knocked me out, so not to be concerned about it. Right? So fine. Now they're talking about moving him upstairs to the pediatric ward because he's not waking up fast enough. They wanted to do a PCR test on him. I told him no. Or whatever test that they called it, something up the nose. I said no. I don't want anything near his blood-brain barrier. So they didn't, I guess, do that. They said, okay, fine. Brought up the subject of a urine test, to which they had to go in through the urethra. But because Amari's not circumcised, and I never pull down his foreskin, per se, when I clean him in the bathtub, like you have to give him a bath and stuff, the skin is, you know, and he said it was, you know, he was amazed that Amari could still pee. I said, so what you saying? I need to get him circumcised? I wanted to get him circumcised a long time ago. We were going to get him circumcised, but my family doctor said, don't do it. And then ShaMay died. And I think I even asked Dr. Ramesh about it, the pediatrician that I see now. And he said, don't worry about it. Well, the guy that did the pee test for Amari said, no, you need to worry about it. And really consider getting him circumcised because eventually it's going to probably be a problem. And I said, well, yeah, I think I tend to agree with you. I would feel more comfortable with that because the last thing I want is I don't care who it is, you know, pulling down his foreskin and doing a repeat with an Andre. And Amari can't defend himself. So that's in the works at some point in the future. To what point, I don't know. I'll talk to Dr. Ramesh because it would be done on medical reasons. To which, in that case, I probably wouldn't have to pay for it if it's recommended by the doctor. So that I said fine, do, but the PCR test or the nose thing, I said no. Right? Then they asked me if he was up to his immunization. I said no, still haven't done that one with the live virus and all that crap. But apparently Kyrie just had his shots two weeks ago with the live virus, so Amari maybe came into contact with that. So whatever happened with Kyrie, Amari's probably building a little bit of immunity. And they tried to justify the PCR test with, to pick up, to establish why he had a seizure. See, that's why did he have a seizure? We need to do this to find out what little viruses and what little viruses he's got going on in his body. Even though they've done multiple blood tests, they've done a P test. Now they want this test so they can establish why he had the seizure. When for the first 4 years when he didn't have the seizure, everybody was asking, did he have a seizure yet? Did he have a seizure yet? Oh, he didn't? Oh, why? He's supposed to have a seizure. He has cerebral palsy. Now that he has cerebral palsy, now that he has seizures, everybody wants to know why he has seizures. And they're going to take any kind of test that they can fucking possibly take just to rule out that it wasn't this, it wasn't that, it wasn't that, it wasn't that, it wasn't that. Oh, I guess it was cerebral palsy after doing all their tests. Like, it's backwards, people. I don't know how to explain it. It's not right. So, of course, no social workers chasing me around this time that I'm aware of. So they move us upstairs now. He hasn't woken up yet, but the timing was perfect. Because this stuff is timed. I'm telling you. Finally, they move us upstairs. Tisha gets the message now, apparently, that I'm at the hospital. And I guess she phones her. I don't know how. Somehow she left a message that she was on her way. Or I phoned her because Marcane told me to phone her or something. And Amari is still somewhat kind of sleeping on the bed. But we're up in the pediatric ward, right? And so I go in there. I stay with him. He's starting to kind of wake up. Tisha shows up. Amari wakes up, starts smiling, being his little self, not as active as he normally is, but he's starting. They can see that he's waking up. They can see that he's smiling. They can see that he's trying to communicate. Right? I'm starting to move because they need to see this before they release them home, which is acceptable. Right? So I'm not saying anything. And then Tisha ends up coming. Did he drink his pop?
Yep.
Maybe make sure he's sitting up. She shows up.
Yes.
She buys me lunch. Little A and May and Kyra running around. Amari's more alert. A new pediatrician comes in. Says we can go home. Okay, great. Asks me if I want more of these little pills. I said, well, that would probably be a good idea. He says, how many do you want? I said, well, I don't know. I guess give me 5. But I only supposed to put 1 in on the cheek when it happens when he has a seizure, correct? He was correct. I said, well, give me 5. And that should be hopefully enough for a lifetime. I'm thinking 45 plus years, right? I don't know. I mean, why are you asking me how many of these that I want? I didn't know what number to pull. So I said, well, just give me 5, I guess. I thought he was going to give them to me. Instead, he wrote a prescription, right? But whatever. Oh my God, sit him up.
He is sitting up.
And we left. So now we're home. We took a taxi back. Now we're home. We hadn't even been home for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. and I brought up the subject of Andre in school, being that I was talking with Tisha, considering what happened the last time I was in contact with her. I told her that he's going to be doing homeschooling, so you need to accept that. And she got right back up on her bandwagon, started her, well, no, that's not, if you don't, I'm calling social services on you, and then she calls Andre, and he goes outside. Then she starts attacking him. You gonna be a bum? Do you want to be a bum? You gonna grow up to be a bum? And come here, Andre. He ends up calling her a bitch and runs away, which made her even madder because she wants to control, right? Oh my God! Sit him up and pat him on his back or something.
He's just coughing.
I know. So I don't want him puking up nothing. So that made her even madder, right? And then 10 to 15 minutes after that, I get a phone call from the social worker that she's 5 minutes away and she's coming to the house because she got a report. And I said, okay, do what you want. I haven't gone to sleep yet now, people. Okay, so now we're going on 3:30 or whatever in the afternoon here. Okay? So we're pushing, a day and a half without any sleep here. Amari! Hold on a minute. What are you doing? Yeah, but you're stressing me out. Sit up. Sit him up this way. Maybe turn off the fan for a while.
Is your macaroni good?
Oh, it's delicious. Thanks.
If you want more, we're on.
There you go.
No.
No. Here, have him put it though on this side so he doesn't fall. And have him sit up like that. So yeah, I just basically said, see you when you get here. No, seriously, I was set up, people. That was too fucking convenient for them just to show up like that. Right? So you heard that. I let her know. They know. Right? It wasn't anything serious. I don't record them all the time. Just once in a blue moon. I mean, that was just whatever. It was for educational purposes because this is, if you're going to be a caregiver to a disabled child that is as severely disabled as Amari is, and you've got a bunch of power tripping fucking wanna be everybody's better than you individuals around you, doesn't matter who they are, and just interested in seeing you fail so that they can feel like they're in control and they'll do a better job, even though chances are they'll never once, not even for a few hours, look after Amari. For some individuals. As for Tisha, she's not going to take him on full time. She's been telling me for years that it's too much for her. She wants to travel. She wants to buy a house. She wants to do this. She wants her own life. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. That's fine. Deal with it. Right? And, it's not easy. She said to me when we were in the hospital, in that room upstairs in the pediatric ward, she said, Mom, what would have happened if he would have done that in bed? Sleeping in the bunk bed, and I wasn't there. And I got up in the morning and I went to him and he was like, whatever. What would have happened? I said, I don't know. I don't have to talk to the doctor about that one. I don't know. Because that one time he was on the bed. But he wasn't there for hours and hours and hours while I'm sleeping. That's why I like to be close with him, right? And even then, you don't think that I don't think that if I'm sleeping, something like this won't happen? and I'm pretty much real close by to him. Oh, like, you don't even know, people. It's like, it's frightening, right? So, you know, so they came in, and I'll deal with it. So, of course, now I'm running around. At the end of this story, I've got even more pressure to start moving shit in the fucking halls or whatever, when I'm supposed to be resting, because after they left, I probably didn't get to sleep until, oh my God, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I was up really for 2 full days. Right? Got up at 7 in the morning, Thursday morning. No, I don't even know. It was a day and a half pushing on 2 days. I was cracking jokes with the nurses and stuff there at the tail end. Like, I did an all-nighter. I was bar hopping. Like the good old days. In the after hours. For the amount of hours that I sat up through all that. And then came home. Had to deal with the social worker. And then, of course, you know, just calm everybody down. Right? And, yeah. I went back fucking being that mule, that workhorse, only now I've got the whip on my back. And I have to do it faster, right? To accommodate other people's expectations. When in fact, you know, they were lurking even before, you know, there's only two choices. Who did it? It was the paramedic. Even though they said they weren't going to have a pissing contest, they did it anyway. Or it was Tisha, when Andre said, "You're a bitch," and ran away from her. And she got up on the phone, but that woman said it came in the morning. But who knows? Maybe Tisha called in the morning. Who fucking knows? But when I said, "Tisha, was that you who did that?" She goes, "Something, something." I said, "Well, just with your response, the way you just responded to me tells me that you did that." She didn't say anything, and I just walked in. And because she didn't get her own way with her little fucking threats, she left. And then she has a couple of things that need to come back to the house. But she has her packages here coming in the mail. And she phoned for her packages, and I just told her, I told her, was that you who told her or me? I think I told her I don't want her packages coming to my house no more. And she said, "Well, don't call me no more." I said, "Don't worry, I won't." And that's it. Right? Because your kids don't have a right to go around bullying you like that. Under any circumstances. She's got her own issues. I could sit here and talk about Tisha and her issues, but I'm not doing that, people. I'm talking about my issues that I have with my daughter. I'm 61. She is, I think, 24 now. That's a big fucking gap in age. Okay? And I don't care if I'm going blind or not. You can't go around bullying people just because you're having a fucking tantrum and you think you know everything and you want it your way, or it's the highway. Well, I guess you got the fucking highway and it can go straight to Alberta, and then after that you can go catch a boat and go to freaking St. Vincent. It is what it is. But in the meantime, whatever the hell it was that I did to myself at the advice of my doctor, I ruined my eyesight. Yeah. It's getting worse. Getting worse. Now I'm going to try and... I don't know. I can't see. Nothing. None of these are working. Nothing works. I couldn't even tell what was in the bowl. At least before the surgery, I could kind of see. I could read the titles on these books. Can't see shit now. It's just getting whiter, people. whiter and blurrier. My son said, "Oh, well, Mom, you just have to give it time." I said, "Well, son, remember that dream I told you? Well, it kind of seems like it may be going in that direction." And he goes, "Yeah, it might." What's he doing? Is he still sitting up?
Yes, he's still sitting up.
This hacking is new. So whatever was going on at that house, I guess he picked it up. But you can hear he's not sick, right? He's just got a itchy throat. A bit of a cold, I guess. So I'm thinking, I'll end it on this. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if I should be, okay, we're going to look in this eye. I don't know. I don't know if I should be making an appointment like ASAP to go back to the eye specialist maybe after the weekend, just to have him to give me a quick boo to make sure it's not infected, and it's not infected, right? On the inside of the eye. Not on the outside, but on the inside, because something's provoking it to become more blurry. It's very dry. Now, mind you, my house is really dry. I asked Marcane to buy me a air conditioner because that helps to cool down the house. It doesn't necessarily make the house have more moisture, but by cooling down the house, maybe this itchiness that I've got going on in my eye might go away a little bit, because the house has been really, really dry for quite a few, pushing on 3 months now because of the weather, right? And everything just hovers in terms of the heat. I was going to use that money to maybe get a plumber, because it's going to cost me $400, $500 just to get a fucking plumber here to go underneath my sink and fix 2 little things for the part that's only $30, and maybe do something with my tap because the hot water tap is stripped. But I'm going to ask whoever comes to pick up the rent if they'll get a fucking guy to come and do it. But if not, otherwise I'm looking at $450, $500 myself. That's what I mean. Like, it's bullshit. As you're being told to get rid of your shit. Pay for the fucking plumbing, but get rid of your shit. As the social workers are running around saying, get rid of your shit. What are they going to do, people, when I gotta move and there's no place to go? I mean, it's a losing battle. Let's face it. Right? I'm just prolonging the inevitable in terms of the housing. There's going to come a day when I'm going to have to leave this place. And it's like my landlady said, I will never have a house at this size again. So I might as well get used to it and start getting rid of my shit now. As I watch old English freaking videos from Britain and places like that, where those landlords used to fucking overcharge the poorest of the poor for their fucking slum tenancies, and get rich, pay a fraction for what they live in compared to what the poor people lived in, and rob the poor people blind. And that's the same shit that's happening today. So that's what happened. And I won't be able to meet this woman's expectations. Because that wasn't the plan. The plan was to do the most serious of everything first, and then ease in the rest and hope for the best, versus overdoing it, getting stressed out while you do it, to go blind. As everyone's running around saying, well, why did Amari have a seizure? Well, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the cerebral palsy, Right? Isn't that what you guys told me for over 4 years? That it was just a matter of time before he fucking have one because of the cerebral palsy? So if that was the case, why are you asking me why that he has it now when you all know he has cerebral palsy? Because, I'll tell you why. Because they need the excuse to do this test, this test, this test, this test, this test, this test, and that test, as they keep them basically sedated to get all these tests done so they can charge the taxpayers for all those tests to come back and say they're all fine, and then, yeah, basically send you on your way till the next time it happens. Right? I don't know how to say it any more clearer than that. If you know he's going to have them, you expected him to have them, and when he didn't have them, you got disappointed because of your expectations. And now that he has them, you want to play dumb and ask everybody that's involved with him when it comes to people like me why he's having them and what we did wrong for him to have them, just so that you can carry on with 15 tests later and quite possibly intubate him because maybe you made a mistake along the way. I'm just saying. Because the nurse was probably a student. You gotta have that heart of steel, people. If you ever find yourself in a situation like mine, just remember, it's like exercise. That's what I told my son.